I run an organization in Memphis called Memphis Tomorrow, which is an association of CEOs of our biggest companies in town who get collectively involved in civic initiatives, philanthropic initiatives, and sort of community building. Memphis Fast Forward was born out of a conversation that leaders of my organization from the business community had with our two mayors. Most of our work is done through public-private partnerships, so this was sort of a natural conversation, and the conversation was, does our community have a strategic plan? Do we know where we're going, where we're going to be in 5 years, where we're going to be in 10 years? It's a collective impact initiative, a very big sort of multi-level collaborative initiative with 5 focus areas. The 5 focus areas are education and talent, jobs and economic development, crime and public safety, health and wellness, and government fiscal strength. Each one of those focus areas sort of has a collaborative of stakeholders, practitioners, and sort of key players, if you will, that are organized by a backbone organization, a coordinating entity organization who works with them to develop and then coordinate the implementation of the strategic plan in that domain. We've had some great impact and some great results. We're very results-oriented in terms of the work that we set out to accomplish, and I'd say within the crime area we saw dramatic reductions in violent crime and property crime over the 5 years, the first 5 years of Operation Safe Community, our public safety component, and within our economic development component, within its 5 years, although we launched it right just prior to the recession, so we faced a lot of headwind, but we were still able to generate 17,000 new jobs as a result of the work. The premise of Fast Forward has been, well, you can't move education along if you don't at the same time, deal with safety in the neighborhoods, or you can't have economic development and jobs if you're not addressing workforce. So these things are so inextricably linked, and that was part of the premise, but then actually linking the communication and conversations around the work so that the work is integrated where appropriate is challenging. It takes time, it takes facilitating those conversations, but mostly what we have done is provided the forum and the space to have some intentional conversations around that, for each to learn what the other is doing, what's important to the other, and then to create the relationships between the leadership of each of the efforts. In terms of engaging stakeholders and having them be at your table, it's very important to sort of meet them where they are, understand their culture and their interests in being at the table, and be sensitive to that and try to deliver it. Political will is a really important energy, or I don't know if it's an energy, it's a thing to be harnessed. And so in conversation with, because we have the nature of Memphis Fast Forward is a public-private partnerships, and we have our mayors very much involved, and we depend on them in large part to carry the agenda, particularly when it comes to resources and when it comes to advocacy work and building political will, and just using their pulpits to say this is important. It's also important to maintain a sense of urgency within the work. There's got to be sort of a driving sense of we don't have all day to get this done. So I've had to work on sort of balancing that. Balancing patience, but at the same time, constructively sort of pushing and supporting and to move us through processes. Memphis Fast Forward is a very big, far-reaching, complex collaborative, and it has grown and evolved in now 7 years of work where we have some infrastructure in place that works. It sounds probably sort of big and difficult to put in place, but In fact, it's sort of an eat the elephant one bite at a time, and that's really what we did from the beginning. And in fact, we didn't even know what the elephant looked like. I had no idea that this is where we were ending up, right? So it's been an evolutionary process that's been built and shaped by a lot of people along the way. And I think the key thing, collective impact initiatives can start in a variety of different ways.